asked over 1,000 beauty professionals what their biggest struggles were in their beauty business, and nearly all of them said that they struggled consistently to get clients. Well, I maxed out 3 different beauty businesses and teach other beauty professionals to do the same. So in this video, I'm going to give you 20 easy ways to get booked out and also tell you what to do if you need clients fast. So let's dive in. Let's start at the easiest place. Where are you going to find hundreds of people who already like you and who are very likely to support your business? In here. So you'll have loads of people, so why not reach out to them? A simple text telling them about your business and asking them to recommend you if they know anyone who's looking to get permanent makeup is a great place to start. None of your friends are going to answer telling you to bugger off, and if they do, then they're not very good friends anyway. So always start with the people that you know. We're going to go into a lot of detail about reaching people online, but I don't want us to discount in-person contact. People buy from people, and you can make a massive impact by actually going out and hitting the streets and letting the local area know about your business. When we opened Eternal Bond, we actually got some branded cupcakes made and went all around our town finding businesses with a similar ideal client to our permanent jewellery clients. So salons, hairdressers, wedding venues. And we went in, we introduced ourselves and we took them cake. People are always going to remember you if you take them cake. It was a way of making sure that all these businesses knew we were there. So if there's local networking events, go and introduce yourself. It's a way of letting the local community know you exist. There are also ways of using local businesses that can give you a huge advantage on your competition and get your business in front of a new audience. If we think of the services we most want to sell and then what would make an amazing package for our client to solve multiple problems that they have, then if we find that provider, we're opening ourselves up to more sales and also a wider audience. So back when I started in permanent makeup, I collaborated with a local lash artist to create a total eye makeover package for my clients. The best way to do this is to find a business that has the same ideal client but who doesn't do the exact same treatments, so it's not direct competition. Another example of this would be an aesthetics provider, especially if our client has a lot of trouble with asymmetry, or a laser provider for all the clients who have previous work. They'd make an amazing partner. You could provide a removal and redo package instead of turning clients away. The next hack I would really advise in the beginning doesn't feel good to do, but I still do it if it serves my business. This gives you amazing experience, builds your portfolio and gives you testimonials and reviews, but amazingly, people don't want to do it. To keep the wheels turning on your social media when you start out in the beauty business, you're probably gonna have to do some free work. Now, I'm not saying that we should constantly be giving stuff away, but rather strategically picking clients who will grow our business. So who would I work on for free and what agreements would I have in place before I do? Because get this wrong and we won't get any benefits at all. The first place I'd start is with anyone local with a large audience of our ideal client. So if I'm doing something like permanent makeup or skin treatments, then I want someone who could show the best results or a massive transformation. So people with really beautiful skin or nice lips, etc. And the bigger the audience, the better. And we need to have a contract in place that they actually do tell their audience. So before any free work, we need an agreement of how many posts they'll post, the type of content, a video review. If you think about it, for what the treatment actually costs you, you're showing your work to maybe thousands of your ideal clients. It would cost you a fortune on Facebook or Google Ads to be able to do that. So instead of thinking of it as free work, I think of it as targeted advertising. This brings us nicely to the next marketing hack. That's just how the world works now. So if you want your products or services to be associated with a certain type of person, then you're gonna have to collaborate. When I see food bloggers at amazing restaurants, I know full well they've been invited there by those restaurants and also they probably haven't paid. I also know that restaurants generally dislike the food bloggers, but just accept it as a way that marketing has changed. So influencers are going to be a great way to get our business in front of a new audience. But again, we need to be careful that we don't get this wrong or we can just be throwing our money and time away. We need to make sure that we choose influencers carefully and that their content and their audience is aligned with our messages and our values. In short, are their audience likely to buy our service? And do we want them? When we choose influencers to work with, as before, make sure that we have an agreement of what that looks like with regard to how much they're going to post about it and make sure that it suits us and get that nailed down in a contract. Just because people say they're going to do something, it doesn't mean that they will. Trust me, I've been there. Okay, so we all know that we really need to post regularly on social media to be visible these days and get clients from it. But is there any way we can speed that process up to blow up our business faster? Yes, because here's the problem, and I'd say that 90% of the beauty professionals I talk to are guilty of doing this. Social media is hard, and fitting it in with all the other jobs that we do often means it gets pushed to the end of the day where we think, oh shit, I need to post something. So we scroll through our phones and we find a little video and we quickly turn it into a reel, stick a trending audio on it and post it, praying that it will turn into bookings. Leave me a comment if you also do that. To get off the hamster wheel of content, we really need to have a strategy and carve out time every week, 2 weeks or a month to put time in and think about our social media campaigns, who we want to target and what we want them to achieve. Now, if this still sounds like an alien concept, then the first place I would start is with 3 content pillars that are going to go straight for the feels and convince your clients to buy. What I mean by pillars is a general theme of 3 messages that I want to get across, and then I build my content around them. People are much more likely to buy if your product solves a massive problem. So the first content pillar reminds them of their current state. So chewed, broken nails, brows that have lost the fullness, dull skin, wrinkles, feeling old. Whatever your product solves, then make content about it. Next, we want to focus on the outcome. What is the dream that our client wants? Gorgeous skin, looking younger, beautiful, elegant hands, perfect facial symmetry, feeling like a new woman, and then we make content about that. Show people what's possible. The third pillar is all the things that clients feel prevent them getting from pillar 1 to pillar 2. So that's an obstacle. So this might be fear of the brows being unnatural, or being scared that Botox may go wrong, ruining the nail beds or damaging the natural lashes. So we make lots of content that challenges these obstacles, and constantly making your content fit around these makes our audience much more likely to book. So having an idea of what to post is a great way to fire up your social media content, but how can we make people stop scrolling enough to watch it in the first place? Capturing attention has become the greatest leverage in the world, and we're not just competing with other beauticians, we're competing with everyone for our clients' attention. We're competing with their kids, with every other app on their phone, the TV program that they may be watching, so it's hard to snap them out of it. To do that, we have about 2 seconds to stop them in their tracks and make them stay on our content long enough for the content message to get through. If we're fishing for clients, then we need to hook them. Hooks are used in all content that does well, and they're a different type of hooks. Have you ever wondered what complicated systems and processes beauty businesses need to make big money? That was a question hook. I asked over 1,000 beauty professionals what their biggest struggles were in their beauty business, and nearly all of them said that they struggled consistently to get clients. And that was a statement hook. Creators use all of those and visual hooks to capture the attention of the audience in the first 2 seconds. So make sure that your content starts with a powerful hook. And if you don't know how to do that, then don't worry, I've got you. I've written 100 hooks for the beauty industry, and there's a link to download it below. So now there's no excuse to not be producing scroll-stopping content every day. You're very welcome. So now you're going to get so much more interest on your content, we're going to have more potential leads. That is anyone who engages with your content who we can contact. But how do we know who to talk to first? I have a simple system I follow to make the most of my time on social media. The hotter a lead is, then the closer they are to booking with us. So we start with the hottest leads first. So what does that look like in practice? So anyone who follows our account is a lead. Anyone who likes our posts is a lead. Anyone who comments is a lead. And anyone who is in our stories every day is a lead. And those are getting progressively hotter. I talk to all of these people in my DMs, starting a conversation with them, but I always start with the hottest leads first. So a great way to find who they are is to add polls or yes or no stickers or questions, etc. in your stories, because the people who are engaging with that the most are the most engaged with you. So start there. But really, we should be DMing everyone that I've mentioned. And if it feels weird, then remember that it's called social media for a reason. Your ideal clients are all out there just waiting to book with us. We just need to engage with them. So are there any other ways that make it feel a bit easier to get clients to book with us on social media? Yes, actually, we can change just one small thing once and it'll make people much more likely to book in. Let me explain. When we look at our Instagram or Facebook page, what does it say about us? Many bios are award-winning artist, 5-time certified, brow technique master. And if we were our ideal client and we came across this page, then most of that means absolutely nothing to us. If we want to connect with people on an emotional level, then we need to make our pages focused entirely on our ideal client and the problems that they are having. So if our bio says, I help women feel more confident by restoring their brow symmetry with natural results, then it's clear who we help, how we do it, and what the outcome is, and what undesirable result won't happen, in this case, unnatural brows. Making our social media client-focused and not us-focused will generate so many more bookings, and we only have to change it once. So now we have engaged leads who feel very likely to book. What next? Well, remember how I said earlier that we are competing for attention constantly. The world is a busy place, and if we create any kind of friction in a process, people will just tap out. So to get people to book for a consultation or treatment, we need to make this process as smooth as possible. So we need to make sure that we have booking links clearly displayed on our page and that people can book in a streamlined process with as few breaks in it as possible. Our booking link should also be clearly available on all pages and easy to see. It sounds basic, but actually it's really important. But what if you're starting out and you haven't yet got lots of engagement on your posts and you still need to fill your schedule? Then I hate to break it to you, but you're gonna have to go and find clients. And this may feel hard, but trust me, doing the hard stuff is what most people won't do. And that's what's gonna separate us from everyone else. So how should we do this without looking and feeling like a creepy weirdo? So if we have a strong view of who our ideal client is, we know what she looks like, we know what she likes to do, and we know the kind of places that she hangs out. We want to speed up the organic process of them finding us. So the first place I'd go and look on social media is the bars, restaurants, and gyms that I think she goes to, and I'll go and look who's checked in. When I can see people who look like my ideal client, I'll follow them and maybe DM them on something or comment on a photo. What I'm doing is filling my follow list and then hopefully my follow back list with my ideal clients, and hopefully starting conversations with them. For this process to work, it definitely takes volume. Most people are going to ignore you, but some won't. And if we don't have a budget to spend on advertising, then this works exactly the same way. And with consistency and volume, it'll work the same. But what if you do get people interested in your DMs? What should you do with them? Well, if we don't know how to guide people through the process of feeling confident enough with us to book, all that hard work can go to waste. Having a simple process of building rapport, asking discovery questions to find out our future clients' problems, pain points and fears before pitching the solution that solves all of these is the proven way to turn engagement into actual bookings. And it's the most valuable process you can learn in any business. We are all salespeople at the end of the day. If we don't have sales, then we don't have a business anymore. Out of all the skills I've learned in my very varied career, sales is by far the most important. Okay, so just imagine this. You wake up one morning, go to log into your Instagram, and both your Insta and Facebook have been hacked. Terrifying, but it does happen. It happened to Nicole, and it happens to even big artists like my friend Shay. But what happens if we don't have any other way of contacting people? That can be our entire business wiped out overnight, which is why we always need another way to get in touch with people. We should be getting the emails of everyone who speaks to us by adding them to a list, because at the end of the day, it's the one thing that's truly ours. Sending people a contact form or just asking for their email to add to a list on something like MailChimp means we'll always be able to get in touch with prospective clients en masse. So we've done a lot of reaching out, got some people to say yes with our amazing sales process, and made sure that we have all their contact details. And now they're here having their brows done by you, which is going to take maybe a couple of hours of your time. So this is a magical opportunity to double or triple your income while you're alone together. This is the perfect opportunity to subtly upsell your other services. While clients are in the chair, they already trust you and your expertise. I have sold so many lip blushes while clients have been in having their eyebrows done. I'm never pushy, but I might just talk about the other services that I do, and if they're interested, then great. I'll answer any questions they have and talk about some of the great client transformations, and so many of them will book in the extra treatment with the 8-week touch-up. There is another easy way to keep your future schedule full to bursting, and most people don't do this. When I leave the dentist, they always book my next appointment for the next time, which is like 6 to 9 months away. I don't even know what country I'll be living in 9 months' time, but I still book in with the knowledge that I can always move it if I have to. But if I didn't book it, the chances of me remembering to book it in myself are slim to none. As your client pays, getting them to book the colour boost in 12 months' time is best practice. There's a long time between appointments in permanent makeup, and that's a lot of opportunities for your clients to become aware of other artists or just lose the connection with you. So having a date in the diary means that's far less likely to happen. It takes 2 minutes and reaps massive rewards. Once we've had a client in, we want to work really smart to make sure that that client turns into many, many more. So this is how we do that. We want to get as many pieces of content out of that client as we possibly can, so we can keep posting and keep reaching more clients. So that will look like behind the scenes footage of setting up for our clients, showing the measuring process, before and after pictures for a carousel post, before and after videos, close-ups, and I made a short course of how to turn 5 clients into at least 50 pieces of content, and I'll put a link to the description of that as well. Another great way to turn one client into many is to get your client to say what an amazing time they had with you and how happy they are with the treatment. And there are many easy ways to do this. And you should, because word of mouth recommendation is the best advertising. If I'm going to book a holiday, then the first place I'm going to go and look is online reviews, and so will everybody else. You can always ask your client for a review in a nice text after the treatment, thanking them for coming. But an even easier way of doing this is having one of these. If we put that where our clients pay, they'll be much more likely to leave a review, and you can even incentivize it with a little free gift. Those really work. Also, you could just ask your client to give you a little video testimonial before you leave, saying how happy they are with the treatment. These will act as real evidence that you're great at your job and that your clients love you. A little bit of time and effort will have massive rewards. So if you consistently delight your clients, they are very likely to recommend you to their friends, and word of mouth is the most powerful advertising. So let's make it even easier for them to do this by giving them an incentive. Referral schemes reward your clients for telling their friends to book, and these can look like discounts off future treatments, vouchers, free gifts, or you can literally pay them. Venmo or PayPal them some money. In permanent makeup, there can be such a long time between sessions that discounts off something in a year or two might not be that enticing. For these clients, I'd reward them with gifts or money now for being your remote sales team for free. We really need to be constantly staying at the forefront of our clients' minds to remind them to keep booking with us. If you're in a business with long gaps between appointments, it's a long time for someone else to get to your client or for them to feel a little disappointed or disconnected from you. That's why regular contact with your clients via email is vital. Emails shouldn't always have a salesy vibe. That can get pretty tiring for clients. They should be focused on nurturing the relationship, letting them know what you're up to, as well as introducing any new treatments and reminding them gently to book in with you. So if you haven't booked people in for the next session, then it gets easier to remind them to do it themselves with regular contact. So that's 20 marketing hacks that will guarantee you more bookings, but I want to surprise and delight you too. So if I really needed to get bookings right now, here are the 2 most powerful ways I found that are most likely to get clients in fast. The next piece of advice is a powerful marketing hack used across all niches for fast conversions. You go onto your socials and stories and you say, I need 5 people. That's it. So it can be, I need 5 people who want to regain the brows of their youth, or I need 5 people who want to restore the pigment in their lips, or I need 5 people who want fuller lashes. What this technique known as 5 guys does is immediately creates the 2 most powerful feelings that make people book. Using the word 5 makes it sound to your client that this opportunity is limited by number. So the hunter-gatherer part of the brain is switched on and we feel that we have to compete for limited resources. The fear of missing out on an opportunity then creates the feeling of scarcity and urgency, which makes it much more likely that people will slide into your DMs. The same fear of missing out can be used to get bookings if you make people aware of a limited opportunity to see you. Whenever I've wanted to fill any spaces in my schedule, I'll post my availability with very limited options to see me. Again, this brings on the feeling of scarcity. I show limited availability and people will be just more likely to grab it. I never budge on my availability. If people can't make it, then it's just how it is. Creating the feeling of being limited and exclusive will always make you more appealing to people and create much more interest in booking with you. Creating the feeling of being limited and exclusive will always make you more appealing to people and create more interest in booking with you. But if you don't know how to take that interest and turn it into actual bookings with a faultless sales process, then you'll be throwing all that hard work away. So the next video will talk you through that process to make sure all those eyes on you and your business definitely book in. And it's right here. Now, there's no excuse to not be producing scroll-stopping content every day. That was really hard to say. Producing scroll-stopping content every day. Scroll-stopping.